Hey y'all, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up located in Central Texas. If you are following along with the lovely, what's it called? Florals in Bloom Suite series that I've been working on, this is the third card in that suite of videos I'm doing. So if you haven't seen video 1 and 2, go back and check those out as well. And then be on the lookout for 4 and 5 and 6 in the future. Okay, this is the card that we are going to make today. Let Joy Bloom. Nothing in the middle. The inside part is a little small, so I didn't want to put too much on the inside and leave enough room to write a greeting or message or something like that. So once again, we are back in our annual catalog on page 42 and 43. Today I'm going to be using the designer series paper. I'm going to be using some garden green and some of our new yellow, the Darling Duckling. The example I showed you at the beginning was using the strawberry slush, but my mama likes yellow, so I'm going to do the same card, but I'm going to use yellow and give Mom a shout out. Hey, Mom. Okay, let's look at our pieces here. All the different pieces. Okay, here's my card base. It is 8.5 by 4. No, it is 8.25 by 4.25, and it is scored at 5.5. And then I am going to have a piece of garden green. It is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then on top of that, I'm going to layer a piece of designer series paper. This is the pattern I'm going with out of that designer series paper pack. This is 5 1/4 by 4. So that's going to get layered on top. Let's put all of those bits together. Okay, this is going to go on here, just like that. And then this is going on the base card, just like that. Okay, now we're going to keep working on the base. I have another piece of garden green. It is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4. And then a piece of basic white that is 4 by 2 5/8. And I just did a little stamp with the stem and the flower. I did those in strawberry slush and garden green. Put those two together. I think I got some, went out of bounds and got some tape on the outside. Okay, now, oh, I can see it right there. Okay, now I am going to use my liquid glue. So I'm going to switch over to liquid glue to put this down in the center. That's going to let me have some wiggle room if I don't happen to get it on straight. And I do want this to be centered as best as I can. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And that's the base. So let's work on the flap here. I have a piece of garden green that is 4 1/8 by 2 5/8, and another piece of the designer series paper that is 4 by 2 1/2. I'm going to put those two together. There we go. And a little bit more adhesive on this part, and that is going to go on our flap. Make sure you watch the direction. If you have flowers like this, you want to make sure that they're pointing the way that you want them to go. And now we're going to do our flap. So we have some more Darling Duckling, and that's going to go right over here. So I'm going to layer a piece of 4 1/2 by 3 1/4, and then a piece of garden green that is 4 3/8 by 3 1/8. I'm actually going to turn it over like that and put those two pieces together. All right, and I'm going to get out my liquid glue again. And use that. I'm going to kind of do a little measure and put my fingers underneath here and know that I don't want to go past my fingers. So I'm going to do some liquid glue up here on the top, just like that. Put the lid back on it so it doesn't dry out. All right, so I want to get this kind of centered. That looks pretty good. Still trying to get it just right. Okay, I think that's good. Now I have a piece of vellum that I dug out of my stash. I think this came from this past year's Christmas vellum stash with the gold and the green. I can't remember the name of it. But I found a piece of vellum, and I'm just going to put this down. I'm going to put some glue across the top, and I'm not going to glue down the flap. I'm just going to do right up here at the top. I'm actually going to switch glues. I'm going to use a different liquid glue and just do a thin line right across the top. Put the pin back in that one so it doesn't dry out. Maybe. There we go. Okay. Now on this piece of vellum, I used the stamp set. It is called Sweet Blooms, I think. Yes, Sweet Blooms. It's the stamp set, or one of the stamp sets that goes with this suite of products. I did, what words am I trying to say? The stuff that you use for embossing. You know what I'm talking about, the clear stuff. You use it for embossing. And then I put the white embossing powder over that, used my heat tool, and put Let Joy. And then there are dies that come with the suite. And it's the 2-part die where you can use one color and you cut out the outline and then the letters in a different color. And I'm going to glue that on there, just like that. Okay. I want to watch that edge and make sure that my glue doesn't go over. So I'm just going to put some glue here, just like that. I think that's good. Okay, now I have some flowers, and this is from another stamp set in that same suite. It is called Pretty Florals. It has stamps and dies. So I stamped this flower and this flower. I'm going to kind of get these arranged before I glue them down. And then this one like that. I don't think I want these quite so long. I'm going to do a little chopping. What if I cut these off right about there? How would that work? That works. Okay, so I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I'm going to glue this one down. And then I'm going to use some more liquid glue and glue this one down. And then I want to pop this one up on dimensionals. Kind of want these the bottoms closer together. That's better. Okay, let me get some dimensionals out of here. 2 will work. And I'm going to pop this up here, just like that. Give it a little bit of height. And then the last thing I want to finish off this card is a pretty little bow right up here at the top to kind of hide that trail of glue. So I'm going to break out my glue dots. I'm going to put a couple in the middle. And then at the end, one on each side. Peel off the back or the front at this point. And stick my little white bow at the top, just like that. Beautiful. Let Joy Bloom. A perfect card, kind of a generic sentiment, however you want to use the card to send to a friend. All right, friends, this is card number 3. Like I said earlier, stay tuned for 4, 5, and 6. Go back and watch 1 and 2. And in the meantime, happy stamping.